So what did we study? Avidya Pachya Sankhara. Because of ignorance, the mental formations happen. Chetana arises and we end up doing some karma. And Sankhara Pachya Vijnana. Every moment that Sankhara which arises gives rise to the next consciousness. And this happens at the time of death also. So we have a new consciousness. So this is how the so-called rebirth happens. And actually, as we have discussed, the person who is born is not the same as person who is dying, but it is not different also in the totally different meaning. So there is a kind of not the same and not the different also. So you can't really logically understand it in normal mathematical logic कि वो बंदा है कौन. So the best example given is cells, daughter cell and mother cell kind of a thing. That kind of example is usually seen to be nearest approximation of what is happening. And yesterday I was listening to that Ayya Khema. She said, if you just reflect deeply on this will reduce your sense of ego, because you don't know where you come from, who was the person who died and who you were born. And you are taking all his deeds personally. उसने जो किया वही तुम्हारी कर्म स्ट्रीम में आया ना. So these are the contemplations which reduce your ego कि मैं ही सब कुछ कर रहा हूँ, मैंने ही सब कुछ किया है, मैं ही अपने आप को सुधार रहा हूँ. Whatever karma that person must have done, it's actually वो जो लामा गोविंद उनकी है ना सूर्यादास की बहुत अच्छी है, ownerless karma which is just going on. You are taking it personally and suffering, adding to that stream more suffering for the next person who is going to be born. And yet, in the conventional sense, we say I was there in that life, I was there. People who remember their past lives, they say I was there. Because remembrance is there, no?
वो भी wrong view है.
Consciousness, yeah. But consciousness is carrying forward that memory, no? In a sense, there is continuity. Some stream is there, but strictly speaking, I can't say I was the person who was born. Just as I can't say by looking at my photograph of childhood that I was this. If I see my childhood photograph, and I'm tempted to say I am this. This is what I was. This is me. It's not, obviously.
Yeah, that's the general convention.
वो कन्वेंशनल लेवल पे तो ही कहा जाता है.
तो यही बात है जो आप कह रहे हो कि है भी और नहीं भी.
अब इसको आप लॉजिक से कैसे समझोगे? इसी बात को लेके जब फिलोसोफर डिस्कस करते हैं तो वो कहते हैं कि ये पता नहीं क्या है, वो ठीक से समझे नहीं है, कुछ तो होगा ही, कुछ तो है ही, कोई तो एक्सपीरियंस कर ही रहा है ना. अब उसको कैसे समझाया कि भाई एक्सपीरियंस है, एक्सपीरियंसर नहीं है? हाउ कैन यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? इट्स इम्पॉसिबल फॉर अ फिलोसोफर टू अंडरस्टैंड इट. That there is an experiencer, there is no experiencer.
Intellectual terms में हो ही नहीं सकता है.
बहुत मुश्किल है. But it's only those people who have that insights of modern science, then they are able to figure out.
वो पढ़ लेते हैं.
जनरल सिस्टम मेरे में एक किताब भी मैंने खरीदवाई थी, मैंने देखी थी नेट में, मतलब मुझे लगा अच्छी होगी. कंडीशनल रिलेशंस एंड जनरल सिस्टम्स थ्योरी. तो कंडीशनल रिलेशंस इज टॉकिंग अबाउट बुद्धिस्ट कंडीशंस. बच्चा है. So then I purchased it and I found that he has been able to, that person has been able, of course based on Erwin Maslow's philosophy, basically systems philosophy and the conditionality are very strongly similar. So it's a very amazing thing to see.
अच्छा, so intellectually भी मुमकिन है.
If you are in a position to come to that right understanding. I mean you get a intuitive sense. कि अगर सिस्टम्स में हो सकता है तो यहाँ भी हो ही सकता है. So sankhara pachya vijnanam, so new consciousness is there, then vijnana pachya nam rupam, because depending on the nature of consciousness would be the kind of body mind which you will get. If the consciousness which arises is of a very negative kind, the Nam Roop will be of an animal form. Either an animal form or a hellish realm or some such realm. If the consciousness which arises is very exalted consciousness, and it can be born in a Deva realm, or if it is intermediate, it will be born as a human realm, and so on. So this way, the Namarupa will also be in tune with the Vijnana. So that is the overall perception, overall analysis. Then of course, which kind of linkage will operate, I have tried to put it. The rebirth linking or other kind of consciousness is a condition in ways as so many ways, in 9 ways, at rebirth linking or in the course of an existence. You can easily see that, because along with consciousness will arise, we already studied in Abhidhamma, along with consciousness will arise various other mental factors. Now this issue of Nama also is a lot of contention. If you see the notes, I had written something, then I have cut it. If you see the notes, you will see that. What I initially thought, I was reading Vishuddhimagga and I wrote down that these are what Vishuddhimagga says is that the 3 aggregates other than consciousness are Nama. But then I was reading something else and I remembered that Sariputta ne jo Nama ka description diya wo alag hai. Then when I saw that again, and in another book it was mentioned that Nama is not just this, it is also includes the Phassa and Manasikara. So, a bit of a technicality. So, the arising of Nama as these mental factors is of course governed by connaissance to hoga, Sahajata Pachi hai, because it arises simultaneously. Vijnana along with Vijnana they arise, and they also mutually conditioning each other. Mutuality. This will be there, then that will also, they rest on each other. Then support and association obviously are there. And the key thing is, it is a Kamma result. This is the key thing which I underline. It is a Vipaka Chitta. It is a Kamma Vipaka. So the form which we get is going to be dependent on the Kamma which is responsible for giving us the rebirth. So depending on that Kamma will be the nature of form. That's why you would recall in the last discussion we had pointed out that if the consciousness is only investigative consciousness, the form will be some kind of a handicapped form. किसी की आँख नहीं होगी, कि कान नहीं होगा, कोई problem होगी, congenital defects, because the consciousness is not strongly rooted. And then if it is unwholesome root, then it will be born as an animal. So the form will be of an animal. Form is changed, and so on. So the Kamma is the key thing which is going to govern both Nama and form. The next one, it is the physical form, Rupa. As the rebirth linking, the Rupa condition is again by the same 9 ways as in the case. And other than rebirth linking, then it becomes mostly post-nascence. You remember? Paschajata Pachaya. Because the consciousness lasts 1 moment and other things last 17 moments. So consciousness which has arisen later also will affect the body which has arisen earlier. This I think we have already discussed in Paschajata Pachaya.
तो सर ये बताइए, so let's see that the karma result has resulted in a higher realm, subtle birth. तो अब ये बताइए, there will be other karma streams that will also mature
in due course.
But if they are of the nature that are supposed to cause suffering, तो higher realm, subtle में तो कोई suffering नहीं,
तो
ये क्या है?
At the end of that realm, that will happen. That's why you remember there is a sutta in which Buddha looks at a worm and tells the monks, this worm was in a Brahma realm in the last life.
तो वो suffering उसमें नहीं mature हो रही है, अगले उसमें हो रही है.
Because conditions are not ripe for maturing, ना. कोई tree के conditions अगर ripe नहीं है तो fruit नहीं आएगा ना.
तो वही मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ ना कि फर्ज करिए वो मैच्योर हो गई, पर उसमें तो
suffering उस realm में नहीं होगी ना मैच्योर. उस realm में conditions ही नहीं है उसकी मैच्योर होने की. So वो मैच्योर होगी at the end of that realm, जब उसका वो पुण्य वाला संस्कार खत्म हो गया, then he is ready to take another birth. Imagine the suffering of a person who is born as a Brahma and ends up in a worm in a cesspool in Indra.
कितना strong karmic
कितना strong flow है, and how much of, and in that realm they are able to foresee कि मैं यहाँ
Is
जा
it?
रहा हूँ, yeah.
subtle में ये अच्छा higher level में ये है
And yeah, they're able to foresee, then you can see what will be the suffering, enormous suffering he must be experiencing at that moment, just at the death moment.
तब ये
Yeah.
sense होता है.
And then
So there is this question that if root is strong, it will be an animal life.
strong, unwholesome. If it is dosha, for example, aversion of a very high order.
There are all the condition factors. उसमें
Yeah.
it's not just only one.
Yeah, but that is the prominent conditioning factor. Moha तो रहेगा ना, all unwholesome चित्ता जो है moha, moha plus dosa means two rooted factors. So at the rebirth, if you see the notes, I have written that sentence. I think this you can be aware. Rebirth, the Patisandhi Chitta finds footing in the just single fertilized egg, which becomes conscious, a being with Rupa and Nama, but only Kaya Ayatana. Because at that time the other Salayatana is not there, only body is there. So according to this understanding, even at the moment of just after the conception, the being is conscious. There is consciousness.
क्यों आपने कहा ना सिर्फ काया वो होती है?
हाँ, but consciousness is there, no? Vijnana is there. There is nama, so there are feelings. There is a feeling. So that apparently a lump of mass has feeling, according to this understanding. Because Vijnana Pachya Nam Rupa. नाम भी होगा ना उसके साथ, रूप भी होगा. रूप के शेप में तो अभी वो पूरा डेवलप नहीं हुआ है. It has not gone into 6, but the body contact is there. Form is there, contact is there.
और consciousness कहाँ है, क्या है?
विज्ञान है, जो विज्ञान आया पिछले जन्म से, जो आया नया rebirth linking consciousness. So that lump of mass
has some consciousness.
Normally वो कई ट्रेडिशन में कहा जाता है ना, there is a intermediate bardo period of so many 48 days or something. So according to Theravada, this tradition it's not.
इनमें दरअसल बार्डो वार्डो तो छोड़िए, हमारे यहाँ भी जैसे अजान ब्रह्म ने इस पे मेरे ख्याल से किताब ही लिख डाली है पूरी, या he has a strong this thing on it. कि at what point do you consider the fetus to have consciousness?
That is a different issue. That's all right. That can happen. The point is that when the consciousness enters, we had studied, that Tanha, Mahatanha, the Sati wala sutta tha. So when the Gandhamba is available, then the conception will take place. So according to that, at the conception time, Vijnana will be there. It is anybody's guess. What does it mean? How many weeks? This, that, I don't know. I can't figure out from there.
So what is happening? तो consciousness ये float कर रही है, looking for.
No, not floating. There is nothing to float around. It's a conditioned phenomenon.
So
at the time of death
only
consciousness is arisen, and wherever appropriate, it will just be reborn there.
Yeah. So to find that appropriateness, it will have to do something, no?
It's not having a car and it has to find a path for that kind.
Yeah.
It is a phenomena which is happening, arising and passing away instantaneously. हमारी consciousness एक के बाद दूसरी जब जाती है, it just arises automatically. The whole world is like an illusion to us. It seems real to us, and it seems that we have to go from here to there. यहाँ बैठे बैठे you think about moon and sun, and thought is gone. How much time does it take?
सर, तो जो डेथ के बाद 10 या 12 दिन का पीरियड होता है जिसके अंदर कहते हैं कि वहीं पर आत्मा होती है,
वो लॉर्ड बुद्धा डज नॉट, मैंने कल भी इनसे डिस्कस कर रहा था ना, that he mentions to the person that if the being is born in a hungry ghost realm, then that person is, having that sensation of hunger and thirst. Then at that condition, if the relatives of that person, they offer some water, offer some fruit to somebody with the volition that may this go to our parent or whatever deceased, then that volition transcribes to him and he feels satisfied. This is what Buddha says in one of the suttas. I don't remember which one, but this much I remember. So there is some person who is doing all this, जो हम नॉर्मली करते हैं, इसे इसको पता भी है इससे क्या होगा. तो तुम ये भोजन दे रहे हो, तुम्हारे पिताजी वहाँ मान लीजिए उस दूसरे कमरे में बैठे हैं, या किसी को दोगे तो उनका पेट भर जाएगा क्या? नहीं, ऐसा. Then why are you doing it? You are not understanding. So he explains it. Only if he is born as a hungry ghost, then your volition will be helpful to him, but otherwise it won't be. So I think I will try to search for that.
But doesn't your volition will be in that way transmitted to any realm? No? Why only hungry ghost? Hungry ghost में क्या ऐसा भूमिका है?
Because there the need is there. No? There is that sensation of thirst and hunger is hurting that person. Volition way it will be transmitted, and therefore the people say that children who are born, sometimes they smile, sometimes they laugh, sometimes they cry without any reason, and apparently they say, I don't know, that it is because their relatives behind in the past life are crying or happy or whatever. So maybe that's true, but I have not found it in teachings of the Buddha still. I'm just telling what I have found, that's all. Maybe it is there, I'm not denying it. It should, that effect of volition should be transmitted.
I mean, it's just intuitive.
Yeah, as metta जैसे हम practice करते हैं. If we say, may this benefit reach to my relatives who are deceased, so it must be having some benefit. But probably the offerings which he was doing for food and all, that probably Buddha must have referred. I have to see what is exactly the sutta.
In the context of food and water.
I will have to see that exactly, because in metta we do say that may this go to my deceased relatives. May the fruit of my goodness be shared with them. I share with them. So it must be having some effect on them. But of course, Buddha always says it is having effect on you. We say that it is having effect on them. So metta practice is always saying that metta is for the benefit of you, your benefit. He always says, what are the benefits of metta? So he says, so these benefits. Person does not get frightened, he has a peaceful sleep, he becomes good, people become, he doesn't have enemies, he doesn't have, so many things. The poisons cannot kill him, so many things are said as the benefits of metta practice. But I have not seen exactly where it is said that this is going to influence other person. मैंने देखा नहीं, होगा कहीं, हो सकता है कहीं. But this kind of understanding is there in the tradition. This kind of जैसे परित्ता है, same kind of traditional बातें चली आ रही हैं. Maybe it is in the commentaries, maybe it is there in the commentaries, or maybe in the Vishuddhimagga, maybe there. Because I don't remember itself, all that I have studied there.
So there is this question from Meenakshi, is that how to develop that consciousness and see things in the light of consciousness in day-to-day life?
That is our practice basically. Here we are just, here the description is being given how things are happening. How to develop better, wholesome states of mind through the practice of Dhamma. Practice of Shila, Samadhi, Panya, they are the things. Here it is only a description of what is happening. This is what is happening. If this kind of vijnana arises, this is what will happen.
So there is one more question, that vijnana leading to Nam-Rupa means that just one cell with consciousness at the time of conception.
Yeah. That's what. That's why I have underlined it. If you see the note, I underlined it because it was written in that Vishuddhimagga.
Vishuddhimagga se
I think either Vishuddhimagga or that Venerable Paitu's book, which is another very powerful book on. And it happens at every moment also. No? We are studying both the things simultaneously. Every moment also, what consciousness arises, our body takes that shape. If consciousness arises imbued with anger, and we express it, the whole body becomes of that kind. Consciousness of love arises, metta arises, our body excludes that. Name and form gets, subtly transformed in that form. गुस्सा आ जाता है तो तमतमा जाता है चेहरा है ना. So the name and form are getting conditioned by that, even during our day-to-day life. Then Nama Rupa Pachya Salayatan. So the Nama and Rupa condition the six sense bases. It's quite obvious. And the kind of conditionings are there given. I have written in 119. And here again I have underlined the Kamma result is the key conditionality. Kamma Pachya tha na hamara. It is Sahajata Pachya, Anyamanya Pachya, Nissay Pachya, and presence was Athi Pachya, Sampayutta Pachya, and Vigata Pachya. So we already seen presence and non-disappearance are similar. Support, it is obviously support of that. So, and it is conescence, it is arising simultaneously. So for different situations, what are the conditions? I have just written. We don't need to really get into that, but I wrote it for the sake of understanding, so that we can see it's not just one conditioning which is operating. So many simultaneously, it is arising together, it is also reciprocally influencing it, it's also supporting it, it's also present with that. So these are so many types of conditionalities which operate when Nama is an association basis is the condition for the mind base. Then similarly for the physical basis, and then physical sense organs. So this is how the Salayatan is explained. So as I put down in the notes, as Namarupa arising at conception matures, six sense faculties develop. At rebirth, only the body faculty and Vijnana faculty are present. Later, other faculties develop in embryo. This is what is written as in the commentaries. Then further for the Rupa, I have given conditions that I have noted down in the 120 slide number 120. The Rupa, the materiality of the physical base, is a condition in rebirth linking in 3 ways, and in general it is conditioned in 4 ways for any of the 5 bases beginning with eye and ears and all other things. So the 4 primaries meaning the earth, air, fire, water, all that, and the Rupa is the materiality. So it is we know it is a physical basis for everything. For the senses to operate, it is the physical basis. So I will not get into detail because we already discussed it while discussing Pachya. The next link is Salayatan Pachya Hassa, which we talked about today also. We had read Nam, Rupa and Hassa issue. So Hassa is basically the contact of coming together of consciousness with sense objects and sense faculty. I have been also reading this book by Venerable Jnanananda. He also, of course, has a slightly different way of interpreting this link, Salayatan Pachya Hassa. Says this is happening because of the base of ignorance. Otherwise, you can avoid that. If the ignorance was not there, there is no need for them to get together, and because once the Phassa happens, then everything else will follow. Once Phassa happens, then Phassa Pachya Vedana hone wala, Vedana hoga to phir aage ignorance hoga to tanha hoga. So he points out that this is usually missed out. So, but that is his way. Nobody else I have seen interpret in that manner. So 5 sense bases consisting of eye, ear, nose, etc. They condition the phassa in 6 different ways. As support, meaning nisaya, pre-nascence meaning purejata, faculty, indriya, dissociation means vipayutta, athi, and avigata pachya. So this is how they contact, obviously, because contact is going to be supported by the sense bases, and the sense bases have to be present before the contact can happen. So it is pre-nascence, and they are like the faculties, they are indriyas. So this way the conditions are identified. When we come to phassa pachya vedana, we know already quite well all that the contact at every door will result in corresponding feeling, and this is in 8 ways. Co-nascence means sajata, it is arising together, they are mutually influencing each other, and it is phassa is providing the support, because on that support only the consequences will happen. It happens for all the 5 senses as well as for the mind doors, that is mano-vijnana also. At that level also mano-phassa, the vedana will arise. So when a thought arises, then also there is a feeling associated with it. We like the thought, not like the thought. And yesterday we had very interesting discussion on this issue yesterday in IIT. And we were discussing Madhu Bandaka Sutta, where the issue of perception is discussed. So point was raised by one of my friends that when you say perception is influencing Vedana, then do you mean to say that if I take something sweet, I will not feel sweet, and if I take something bitter, it will not be feeling bitter? So after some discussion, the clarity emerged, and I pointed out that there is a difference between feeling and sensation. That is where the things come. When the tongue comes in contact with something sweet, there is a sensation of sweetness, because that is the nature of tongue. You can say rasa. Okay, so if you see it in the words properly, it will be jivva cha paticche raso cha upajjati jivva vijnanam. Thinnam sangati phassa pachaya vedana. So the vijnana, jivva vijnana which arises, it identifies it as sweet or bitter. But the feeling which arises will depend on will be governed strongly by perception. So somebody may take something sweet. It's not necessary that he will feel good about it. Somebody may take something bitter. It's not necessary that he will feel bad about it. So that yesterday, then everybody understood it. Yeah, that's it. Because otherwise it gives a wrong impression. Because feeling arises कि भाई ये तो सबको ऐसा ही लगेगा, मीठा तो मीठा ही लगेगा, of course, गरम तो गरम ही लगेगा, of course, but गरम जो है किसी को अच्छा लगेगा, किसी को बुरा लगेगा, मीठा किसी को अच्छा लगेगा, किसी. So that issue of phassa pachya vedana is important to see, that contact will give the consciousness which will arise when you hear something. Then I pointed out, when you hear, some people have a taste for classical music, some people just don't have taste for classical music. So the sound is the same, but the vedana which is causing is totally different because of the perception. So we have to see how this conditioning happens. That was quite a interesting discussion I thought I'll share with you about the vedana and the contact.
So contact से क्या है phassa pachya?
Vedana. Phassa means the contact of all the three, the linking of consciousness, sense object, and the sense base.
So vedana will be what it is.
Vedana will be conditioned by the perception, anya. That's what point I was making yesterday also. And vedana in turn conditions perception also. But vedana will also be strong because a perception is developed that sweet things are not good for me.
Correct.
A perception is developed, I should not take milk. Then it does not mean that when you take ice cream, it will appear bitter to you. It will be sweet, but you don't like it. Because perception has conditioned your Vedana in such a manner that you don't like it, you don't feel good. So Vedana is only of three kinds: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. While touch can be sweet, bitter, noise, music, hot, cold.
So touch is objective.
Yeah. It is dependent on the relationship, no? Because what is happening at the sense door, we normally think of touch only in this sense, no? Body touching something. But touch is going first, it happen at every sense door. At jiva also, there will be a physical contact as well as there will be a rasa which will interact. So when you take food, there is a physical contact of the food with the tongue. So that is phassa in the, that is touch in the bodily sensation. But there is also a sense, the sensation arising because of the nature of tongue.
That is not Vedana.
That is only sweetness or bitterness or sourness.
Yeah.
But how we respond to that contact is going to be Vedana. So Vedana will be, Vedana is not sweetness or bitterness. Vedana is Sukha Vedana or Dukha Vedana. Whether you feel good, pleasant about it, or you feel unpleasant.
And that is governed by perception.
Yeah. That is, I mean, they are influenced each other. So this is a very important distinction which you should make. Otherwise, we get into confusions. So yesterday that helped us in clarifying the confusion. So that's why I am pointing it out.
And so, Nirmala ji has given her experience that she had heard or read somewhere that milk chocolate has some amount of cockroach parts. Since then, eating chocolate is not giving good feeling, though it's still sweet.
Yeah, perception is very, very important. Very, very important. Once a person has been diagnosed with diabetes, he may be having great taste of sweetness.
Yeah.
Then he'll be frightened. वो देखते ही डर जा रहा है कि भाई मुझे खाने को मत कह देना. ऐसा नहीं कि उसको अच्छा नहीं लगता है. उसका टेस्ट उसको पसंद है, but he knows it will give a wrong, bad feeling. Yeah, that's the kind of discriminative understanding we should develop. Then we come to Vedana Pachaya.
So can the phassa be then be clarified as the bare sensitivity?
Phassa is actually contact of all of them. The sensitivity will be cognition. Vedana. Jiva Vijnana. Jiva Vijnana, isn't it? Jiva Vijnana will do what? It will identify the rasa. It will cognize the rasa. Sota Vijnana will identify the sound. Kaya Vijnana will identify bodily sensation. You know? So when we practice Vipassana in this our Goenkaji's method, then we are actually feeling Kaya Vijnana and there is feeling Kaya Vedana arising because of that. So that was, if you want to describe it in proper Abhidhammic terms, you will say Kaya cha paticca photabba cha upajjati Kaya Vijnana. There is Kaya, there is touch, and Kaya Vijnana is arising. Tinnam Sangati Phassa. All the three contact together when they operate in tandem, coordinated way, that is the Phassa. Phassa Pachaya Vedana. So on that basis a Vedana arises. So it is pleasant or unpleasant. Not hot and cold. Hot and cold is not Vedana. Hot and cold is sensation.
So हमने sensation और वेदना को वो कर
That's what needs to be seen clearly. So it's important that we should be clear on that. That's why
sensation का हिंदी क्या है?
संवेदना कहते हैं ना, गुरुजी ने तो ये बनाया ना उसका translation.
But just now we are discussing that Vedana is not that.
Yeah, but it has been conflated because that distinction is difficult to comprehend because of that reason. Because if you don't have that complete base, then you will not be able to comprehend.
So semantically, what is phassa?
Phassa is, you can't say it. You can't put it in the Hindi words. You can't make it Hindi word for it. That's why English में भी touch बोल दिया उसको, contact बोल दिया. अब contact का मतलब तो ये होता है contact का. We only understand that. By contact, normal language में तो we understand physical contact. that will produce physical sensation. That will produce physical Vedana. Now when you take food, you have both physical Vedana and Jiva Vedana. Vedana arises at each sense door.
Correct.
So, and you are doing all the things. Food में तो सारी sense door operate करते हैं ना. Seeing operates. So you have Vedana at the eye. खाना देखने में ही अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, सुनने में अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, टेस्ट में अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, टच में अच्छा लग रहा, इतना ठंडा है, टच है ना, दैट इज टच. इतना गर्म है, चाय इतनी गर्म है, so that is touch. Then there is taste, then there is smell. All these things are operating. Then there is sound. So all the senses operate in. That's why he said mindful eating. If you practice, you are practicing at all the sense doors. That's why we in our workshops we do that with the students. बिस्कुट पकड़ा देते, कहते हैं जरा खाना नहीं, बस बताएंगे तुमको कैसे खाना है. चल लाफिंग क्या है, हमको बिस्कुट खाना सिखाओगे? ओके, जस्ट वेट. So if you practice in accordance with the understanding of this Abhidhamma or Madhubandaka Sutta, whatever you want to call it, then you begin to see the things impersonally. इसी तरह से तोड़ने से ही तो impersonality आती है ना. अदरवाइज तो मैं खा रहा हूँ और मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है. Period. Nothing.
So there was this comment that first means sparsh.
Yeah. But in Hindi, sparsh will be again the same thing.
Same thing.
अब स्पर्श उसको आप साउंड पे स्पर्श कैसे कहोगे? टेस्ट पे स्पर्श करोगे तो फिर वही साउंड पे स्पर्श तो कर ही नहीं पाओगे किसी तरह से. What does it mean? That is the equivalent of that in Hindi is sparsh. That is true. So we'll stop here for the day.
So any more questions, please write in the chat box. Sir, there is this comment that it will be good if sir shares the mindful eating workshop details. Oftentimes we eat while the session goes on because of hunger.
Yeah, okay, we'll discuss it.
Maybe उसकी ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग तो शायद होगी. एक बार हमने IIT में करी थी.
हाँ.
उसमें स्लाइड्स नहीं है बट ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग है. So that also I can.
Yeah, we can discuss it next time. We'll discuss.
Any more questions for today?
There is also a video available and of all the places from Harvard Medical School on mindful eating.
Yeah.
So I think you can see that. That also has, it doesn't give in that sense, but it mentions 7 steps of mindful eating.
अच्छा, हाँ?
Yeah. It is a proper research done by Harvard Medical School. So I show that in my workshop in IIT. So that because Harvard की चीजें लोगों को जल्दी समझ में आती हैं, हमारी बात उतनी समझ में नहीं आती. So that you can do Google and search. I think वो immediately मिल जाएगा because it's quite easily known. It is a book. It's based on a book which is written by the Harvard faculty along with Thich Nhat Hanh of the surprise. She has written that book called Savor or something. YouTube में देखोगे ना आप. If you see in search in YouTube, you'll get that mindful eating. Cheong या कुछ ऐसा उस लेडी का नाम.
Lilian Cheong.
हाँ, Lilian Cheong.
Savior. Mindful
that
eating,
is-
mindful life.
Yeah, तो इसका लिंक आप भेज दो.
Yeah.
So this book, this small video gives a very reasonably good idea of what mindful eating should be. And then we can discuss it because some of the things are not very clear. Honoring the food we were discussing yesterday, the other day, that it has to be understood properly.
No more questions. So we don't have the class next week.
Yeah, next Sunday or both IT experts are not available. One will be in USA, another will be in Manali.
अच्छा अमेरिका जा रहा है राजेश?
राजेश तो अमेरिका जा रहा है ना आज.
He is flying
Oh.
tonight and will be back on Saturday evening.
So, अच्छा, you had met Shilesh last time, no?
Yeah, both Silesians.
Yeah. So Rajesh is now going to be a frequent traveler to US.
Yeah,
अच्छा, ऐसा है
actually,
क्या?
his